morning, Menifee, on this Tuesday morning. Doug Spoon with Menifee 24/7 back with you. And we have a special guest today. We're going to go into a little bit of a literary corner here with one of our local residents. We have Rachel Huffmire.
Hi.
Glad to have you with us today.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Great, great. Well, she is an author who has just released a new book,
Yay.
Shattered Snow. And this is available, right, on Amazon and different places online you can order it?
Barnes & Noble, Amazon, select bookstores.
Great,
Yeah.
great. So tell us a little bit about yourself first. How long have you been in Menifee? Where did you grow up? How did you get involved in writing and that kind of thing?
Perfect. I grew up in a small town in Utah, and so when we moved to Menifee, I loved it. It felt very similar to the town I grew up in.
Okay.
So we moved here about 2 years ago, and that's where I wrote this book, was here in Menifee. So it's been a fun journey.
Now it says here, I did a little bit of my research. Rachel works as a novelist and acquisitions editor for Immortal Works Press.
Yes.
So acquisitions editor, what does that entail?
Well, awesome. After I published my book, there was an opening in the company, and so I applied to become one of the people that reads unpublished novels and recommends them to the publisher if they're good. So
cool.
if you have a novel, you can send it to me.
That sounds like a fun job.
It's awesome to get paid to read.
She writes science fiction, fantasy, and historical novels. Okay, so tell me about when you first got interested in wanting to write and how it evolved into writing a novel and what kinds of things that you like to write about.
Perfect. I worked at the BYU bookstore in college, and while I was there, we were able to host a bunch of authors as they would come in and do book signing events, and I would talk to them, and just hearing about their stories and the process behind it, I was like, I want to be on that side of the table. I want to be doing that, what they're doing.
Right.
So that was my introduction to author as a career, and after that, I just started writing every day and took college courses and independent study, and that's been my life.
Well, I admire what you do because as a writer myself, but as a journalist, I can crank out a story just based on the facts, or I can write a column, but the thought of writing like a couple hundred pages and of creative writing, that's a lot. I don't know if I could do it. What's your routine? Do you have, like, you set aside a certain amount of time every day? Because you've got a family, kids to look after, so how do you manage all this?
Yeah, I try to set a word count goal.
Oh, okay.
So I usually try to write between 1,000 to 2,000 words a day. And then eventually my novels are finished. Every November I do NaNoWriMo, which is National Novel Writing Month.
Okay.
And you write the entire novel in 30 days. So that's what I did with Shattered Snow, was I wrote it in 30 days, and then I spent a few months editing before I send it to a publisher.
So now, do you kind of have a general outline of where you want the story to go, or do you just start in and see where it goes?
I am an outliner. There's two kind of writers. There's outliners, and there's what you call a pantser, which is they're writing by the seat of their pants, and whatever comes to mind, that's what they go for. But I need those guide marks to follow, or else I get a little lost.
So tell us a little bit about this book. I noticed one of the reviewers here, Brian Crosby, creative director of Themed Entertainment, says Rachel Huffmire is an exciting new voice who takes familiar ideas about fantasy and time travel and shatters those expectations. Shattered Snow is a beautiful reimagining filled with engaging new characters and fresh new ideas. Now, I have to tell you, I love stories about time travel. What's your spin on it that you've taken in this book?
Well, I had the idea for this book while I was listening to a time travel novel, because like you, anything time travel is good for me.
Right.
So I was listening to time travel, and I was cleaning a mirror, and I thought, wait a second, what if mirror from Snow White and time travel, and I mashed those together. So my spin is, it's a Snow White retelling, but instead of magic, they're using time travel.
Interesting. Very good. So when did the book first come out?
So the book came out January 9th of this year. So it's only a month and a half old.
And you just got back from a book tour. Where did you go to promote the book?
I went to Utah, and I presented at a conference in Provo. It was a science fiction and fantasy symposium. So for 3 days I was there and got to present and meet other authors. And then after that, I did a signing tour with Barnes & Noble and some independent bookstores, and it was a lot of fun.
Wow, yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds like fun.
It was.
So are you already working on your next idea?
Yeah, my sequel's almost done.
Ah,
So that's soon to be put in with my publisher, and that's still a long road before it sees print.
right. Now, when you're working with a publisher, I assume you give them a preliminary idea. This is what I'm thinking about for my next book, and then do they have to say yay or nay before you go any further? Or?
It's actually that I have to submit a finished book,
Oh,
and
okay.
then they say yes or no, or rewrite these parts, and then they work with me from there.
Okay.
But yeah, I have to have it finished before
So have
they give me the thumbs up on it.
have you ever written a complete one and have them say no thanks?
So this is my 7th book that I've written.
Okay.
So I have a pile of rejection letters that I've sent to editors and agents and publishers. So it's definitely a long road if you want to go traditional
Yeah.
with your publishing.
You have to persevere, not get discouraged.
Right. They say it's about 100 no's to every yes.
Really?
So that's
Wow.
kind of about where I've been.
But now that you've established yourself, it's probably easier to get the next book in, right? Because they already
Yeah.
know what you can do.
Well, you just have contacts within the network of I've already worked with a publisher. You know, they've already invested in a book, so it's fun to work with them on other projects. And then if
Right.
this one does well, then you can go and try for other books as well.
Great. Now
Yeah.
you brought some illustrations here.
Yeah.
Why don't you show us what these are?
All right. Well, there are some illustrations in Shattered Snow that kind of give you an idea of some of the devices. It's no magic, but it's all technology based. Okay.
This other one, what is it? Looks like hair clips or something.
Yeah, so in the original Snow White, there's not just a poison apple in the Grimm's fairy tale.
Oh, okay.
There's poison hair combs, there's iron shoes, there's a corset, there's all these
Wow.
different items that are very pertinent in the fairy tale. So I tried to stay true to the Grimm brothers, not the Disney-fied
Okay,
version.
right.
Yeah.
There's more to the story than just the Disney movie.
Exactly. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
fun to go back and read the Grimm's brother after you read this book and see how they both fit together.
So now you're writing a sequel to this book.
Yes.
And that's also time travel.
It is, and it's Sleeping Beauty is the next one.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's a lot of fun.
Very cool. Well, we want to thank you for coming in and
Thank
sharing this
you.
with us today. That's really interesting, and I'll definitely be picking up a copy of Shattered Snow here.
Tell us how we can get that.
So it's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. It will be released in audiobook in about a month and a half or 2 months. You can also find it on Barnes & Noble, their website, and a few select independent bookstores.
So you're probably quite a reader then, right?
Yes.
Do you listen to audiobooks
I love
more now,
audiobooks.
or you like that more than just reading a book?
As a mom, it's kind of the way you
Okay.
have to go. You do dishes, you drive in the car, you can listen to audiobooks.
Right.
But I still love having paper in my hands. So.
Yeah. Yeah, ask Kristen about that. My man cave has like 5 bookshelves in there. Well, great. Thank you, Rachel, for
Thank
coming in and
you.
telling us about this. And we hope that you will check her out online and order a copy of Shattered Snow, and we'll eagerly await the sequel to come out.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. That's it for today. We will see you tomorrow. Oh, we want to remind you first that tonight at 7 o'clock on our Facebook page, we're doing a live broadcast. We've promoted this a couple times already. The city manager, Armando Villa, will be in studio with us, and that one will be live. So we urge you to come on, ask questions, and you learn a little more about the city government. So until then, we will talk to you later.